All right, let's dive in. Ready for this? We're taking a deep dive into Mel Robbins' The 5-Second Rule.
Oh, yeah, this one is fascinating. We're going to really unpack this idea, how this simple tool can help you conquer those everyday anxieties and unleash your inner daredevil.
Like, really unleash it, that part of us that's been itching to chase those big dreams and live a life that truly lights us up.
I think what's so fascinating about Robin's approach is that she doesn't just tell you to be more courageous.
Right. Like, just go do it.
She really dives into the science behind why we hesitate, why we get stuck in those overthinking loops, and how we can actually rewire our brains to take action.
I love that she starts the book with that analogy of the two young fish from David Foster Wallace's commencement speech.
Yeah, the ones who are just swimming along.
Completely oblivious to the water they're in.
Yeah, it's such a brilliant way to illustrate how we often take the most important things for granted, like courage. Exactly. It's like we're all swimming in this sea of potential.
Yeah.
But we're so focused on the waves, the currents,
Yeah.
the perceived dangers, that we forget we have the inherent ability to navigate those waters.
Totally.
And Robin's own story is a testament to that.
Oh, for sure. Her journey is so relatable. I mean, she went from working in tech startups to coaching to building this whole media career.
Yeah.
But even with all that outward success, she was struggling. With self-doubt and financial stress, she was basically stuck in a rut, just like those fish, unaware of the power she already possessed.
And then came that moment, that pivotal moment.
I love this part.
Picture this. She's watching a rocket launch on TV.
Okay.
And this instinctive thought pops into her head. I'll launch myself out of bed tomorrow.
Okay.
Like a rocket. It sounds almost silly, right?
It does. Kinda.
But here's the thing. She didn't just dismiss it as a fleeting thought.
No.
She actually used that seemingly ridiculous idea to propel herself into action.
Yeah, that was the birth of the 5-second rule, and it completely changed her life.
And it's not just some motivational fluff. Robbins grounds the rule in neuroscience. So when we hesitate, when we overthink, we're stuck in this neural loop in our brain.
Oh, interesting.
But when we use the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown and take action, we activate the prefrontal cortex, which is like the command center for decision making.
So we're essentially hijacking our brain's natural tendency to overthink.
Yes.
And forcing it to focus on action instead.
Precisely. Think about it. So many groundbreaking discoveries and inventions happened because someone acted on an instinct, a seemingly random thought, before fear could take over.
Right.
The match, Velcro, even the Frappuccino.
But wait, the Frappuccino? Seriously?
Yeah, a Starbucks employee in Santa Monica, super hot day, and just whipped up this blended coffee drink out of sheer desperation.
Wow.
If she had hesitated, if she had let doubt creep in, who knows if we would have the Frappuccino today.
That's amazing. I never knew that.
It's a testament to the power of acting on those seemingly insignificant ideas.
That's actually really encouraging. It's like we all have these flashes of brilliance, these seeds of courage. But we need a tool to cultivate them, to bring them to life before they wither away. And maybe the 5-second rule is that tool.
Exactly. It's about trusting your gut and taking that leap of faith. And this isn't just about inventing the next, billion-dollar coffee drink or something.
Yeah.
It's about those everyday acts of courage that can change the trajectory of your life.
Like Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat on the bus. Robbins talks about how Parks didn't plan that moment. It wasn't some, calculated act of defiance. She simply acted on instinct, on a deep sense of what she knew was right.
What's often overlooked about that story is that Rosa Parks didn't see herself as particularly courageous. In that moment, she was just tired of being treated unfairly, tired of the injustice, and she acted on that feeling.
Wow. And think about the young Martin Luther King Jr., who led the bus boycott that followed. He didn't have a detailed plan. He didn't know how it would all unfold. He just felt the call to action and stepped up.
It's a powerful reminder that courage isn't reserved for superheroes or historical figures.
Right.
It's within each of us, waiting to be unleashed in those everyday moments. Think about a time in your life when you had a gut feeling, an urge to do something, but you hesitated. What would have happened if you had acted on that impulse?
Oh, there are so many. Like that time I wanted to approach someone at a conference but talked myself out of it. Or when I had an idea for a project but was too scared to share it. Makes you wonder, what if those small acts of courage could have led to something amazing?
That's exactly what Robbins wants us to consider. What if those seemingly insignificant moments hold the key to unlocking our true potential? And even more importantly, what if waiting for the right time is actually preventing us from achieving those dreams?
It's almost like we use waiting as a shield, a way to protect ourselves from the possibility of failure or rejection. But what if, in doing so, we're actually guaranteeing that we'll never reach those goals?
Robbins calls it the danger of hesitation. She highlights stories of famous almost moments. Michelangelo almost didn't paint the Sistine Chapel. Steve Wozniak almost didn't co-found Apple. Can you imagine the world without those masterpieces?
It's a stark reminder that playing it safe can actually be the riskiest move of all. So how do we break free from that hesitation, that fear of taking that first step?
That's where the 5-second rule comes in. It's not about eliminating fear. It's about acting despite fear. Remember, action beats feeling.
Okay, so we're back and ready to kind of explore how this whole action beats feeling idea can help us build confidence and pursue those passions, the things we've been dreaming about. I mean, it seems counterintuitive though, right? We often think we need to feel confident before we can take action.
Yeah, Robbins turns that idea on its head.
Uh-huh.
She argues that confidence is a result of action, not a prerequisite.
Oh, interesting.
Think about it. When was the last time you did something that scared you, somewhat outside your comfort zone? And it actually went well. Didn't that boost your confidence, even if just a little?
Totally. It's like you're proving to yourself that you can handle challenges. And those small wins, they start to add up and create this snowball effect of confidence.
Exactly. That's what happened when Robbins gave that talk at Cisco.
Oh, yeah, I love that story.
She challenged the audience to introduce themselves to 3 strangers, using the 5-second rule to overcome any hesitation.
It seems so simple, but it's so powerful.
Yeah.
Just imagine the ripple effect of all those people pushing past their comfort zones, connecting with each other, and walking away feeling more confident in their abilities.
It's a brilliant illustration of how action, even a seemingly small action, can shift our entire mindset
Right.
and create a sense of empowerment. And Robbins argues that this principle applies to all areas of our lives,
Right.
not just networking events. It's about speaking up in meetings, taking on challenging projects, even having those difficult conversations in our relationships.
Speaking of relationships, Robbins really emphasizes the importance of honest communication and taking risks even when it feels scary. She shares a pretty personal story about learning of her father's brain aneurysm
Yeah.
and how the 5-second rule helped her have a courageous and heartfelt conversation with him.
It's a powerful reminder that we often avoid those difficult conversations out of fear, discomfort. But what if we're missing out on opportunities for deeper connection and understanding? What if those conversations, even if they're tough, are exactly what we need to strengthen those relationships?
It's like that quote, life's too short to leave important things unsaid. And sometimes it takes courage to say those things, especially when we're afraid of the outcome.
Absolutely. And Robbins argues that the 5-second rule can be that little nudge we need to overcome those fears and express what's truly in our hearts.
Yeah.
It's about showing up authentically in our relationships, even when it feels vulnerable.
And this idea of showing up authentically, it really resonates with me when it comes to pursuing passions. I think a lot of us have those dreams, those interests that light us up, but we're just too scared to take that first step.
She encourages us to explore those curiosities, to follow those threads of interest, that spark our imagination. She even suggests paying attention to envy.
Envy, huh?
Like if you find yourself feeling jealous of someone else's life, their accomplishments, it might be a clue that you're yearning for something similar in your own life.
So instead of letting envy consume us, we can use it as fuel for action.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like asking ourselves, what is it about their path that resonates with me? What steps can I take to, cultivate similar experiences or pursue my own unique version of that passion?
Exactly. And Robbins emphasizes that it's not about comparing ourselves or trying to replicate someone else's success.
Right.
It's about using those feelings as a catalyst for self-discovery. What lights you up? What makes you come alive?
And it doesn't have to be some grand life-altering shift. It could start with something small, right? Like taking a class, reading a book, or even just having a conversation with someone who's already pursuing that passion.
Robbins shares a great story about Joe.
Joe.
Yeah. This banker in London who took a single interior design class.
Wow.
And ended up launching a successful career in a field she truly loved.
It's such a great example of how even the smallest actions can have a ripple effect. and lead to unexpected opportunities.
And Robbins stresses that the journey of pursuing passions isn't always easy.
Right.
There will be moments of self-doubt, obstacles to overcome, and perhaps even pushback from those who don't understand your vision.
Yeah. I think that's where the 5-second rule can be incredibly helpful. It's about pushing past those feelings of fear and uncertainty and taking those first steps even when you don't have all the answers or a guaranteed outcome.
Robbins uses the example of Todd, a young man in Australia who was pressured by his parents to study law and business.
Okay.
Even though his true passion was physical education, he struggled for years, feeling torn between his own desires and the expectations of his family.
Yeah.
But eventually, he used the 5-second rule to overcome his fear of disappointing his parents and enrolled in the program of his dreams.
It's such a powerful reminder that we have the power to choose our own path, even if it means going against the grain.
And sometimes that takes a tremendous amount of courage. Robbins reminds us that there will always be someone who can't see your worth. Don't let it be you. Powerful message about owning our value and pursuing our passions without seeking external validation.
So it's not just about taking action. It's about believing in ourselves and trusting our own inner compass, even when the outside world is sending us mixed messages.
Exactly. And sometimes those inner whispers, they lead us to places we never expected. Robbins shares a personal anecdote about receiving this cryptic text from her dad. That sparked this wave of fear and uncertainty.
Wow.
It turned out to be a call about a serious health issue. But the experience highlighted the importance of having those tough conversations and expressing our love and appreciation for those we care about.
It's a reminder that life is precious and unpredictable. And we shouldn't wait for the right time to connect with loved ones or express our feelings.
Robbins encourages us to embrace those moments of vulnerability and to have the courage to say what's in our hearts, even when it feels uncomfortable or scary.
Right.
It's those connections, those moments of shared humanity that make life truly meaningful.
So we've talked about courage, confidence, and passion. Now, how about we tackle something we all struggle with? Procrastination.
Robbins offers a surprising perspective on this.
Oh, does she?
She argues that it's not always the villain, that we make it out to be. In fact, she distinguishes between two types of procrastination: destructive and productive.
Wait, productive procrastination? Is that even a thing?
According to Robbins, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
She describes it as an essential part of the creative process. It's about giving our minds the space and time to wander, to make unexpected connections, and to generate fresh ideas.
So sometimes stepping away from a project and letting our minds wander can actually be more productive than forcing ourselves to stay focused.
Exactly. Robbins even credits this type of procrastination with helping her write the 5-second rule itself.
Really?
She said the book is much better because she allowed herself the time and space to let the ideas simmer and evolve.
That's actually really encouraging for those of us who tend to beat ourselves up for not always being on. But what about the other kind of procrastination, the kind that leaves us feeling stressed and overwhelmed?
That's what Robbins calls destructive procrastination. It's the type of procrastination that involves avoiding important tasks, often due to fear, self-doubt, or a lack of motivation.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to that. So how do we overcome this type of procrastination, the kind that keeps us stuck in a rut?
This is where Robbins offers another powerful tool: envisioning the future you.
Okay, that sounds intriguing. What exactly does that entail?
It's about taking a moment to picture yourself in the future, having achieved your goals, and really connecting with the emotions that you would feel in that moment.
Yeah.
Imagine the sense of accomplishment, the pride, the joy.
Yeah.
By tapping into those feelings, we can create a powerful source of motivation in the present.
So it's about shifting our focus from the immediate discomfort of the task to the long-term benefits and the satisfaction we'll feel once we've achieved our goal.
Exactly. It's a way of bridging the gap between who we are now and who we want to become.
I love that. It's like having a glimpse of our future selves and using that vision to guide our present actions. But let's be honest, sometimes, even with the best intentions, we still struggle to get started. What happens when those feelings of fear or self-doubt creep back in?
That's when the 5-second rule comes back into play. It's about interrupting that cycle of hesitation and activating our prefrontal cortex, which is the command center for decision making.
It's like hitting the reset button on our brains and choosing action over inaction.
Precisely. And Robbins encourages us to use the 5-second rule proactively, not just to react to moments of procrastination. She advocates incorporating it into our daily routines, especially our morning routines.
So how does that look in practice?
She emphasizes the importance of starting the day with intention, avoiding distractions, and setting ourselves up for a productive and fulfilling day.
I'm guessing scrolling through social media first thing in the morning doesn't quite fit into that picture.
You got it. She keeps her phone out of reach at night to avoid that temptation. She also stresses the importance of planning her day and even scheduling her quitting time to ensure she maintains a healthy work-life balance.
It's about taking control of our time and energy rather than letting the day control us.
Exactly. And she reminds us that even small changes to our routines can have a significant impact on our productivity and well-being.
So as we kind of wrap up our deep dive into the 5-second rule, I'm curious, what's resonating with you the most? Like, what's really standing out as a potential game changer, for your life?
For me, it's that reminder that we often have more power than we realize. We get so caught up in our feelings, those overthinking loops,
Right.
that we forget we have the ability to choose our actions, to interrupt those patterns, and to create a different outcome.
Yeah. And Robbins really drives that point home with her final message in the book. She writes, yes, you can move mountains. Whatever is happening right now, this is it. This is your life. And it's not going to begin again. You can't change the past, but in 5 seconds, you can change your future.
Powerful, right? It's like a call to action.
It is.
An invitation to stop waiting, for the perfect moment, the right conditions.
Right.
And to start living our lives with intention and courage right now.
Because, as she says, the time to reveal it is now. So what act of courage will you take in the next 5 seconds? Will you finally start that project you've been putting off? Will you reach out to that person you've been wanting to connect with? Will you simply choose to believe in yourself and your ability to create a life that truly lights you up?
It's been awesome exploring the 5-second rule with you. We uncovered the science behind courage, the power of morning routines, the importance of pursuing our passions, and nurturing our relationships.
And through it all, the 5-second rule has emerged as a simple yet powerful tool for unlocking our inner strength and creating a life that's truly authentic and fulfilling.
So grab your copy of the 5-second rule and start applying these principles to your own life.
Until next time, keep diving deep and keep pushing yourself to be the best version of you.